Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. The United Kingdom on Tuesday noted that it was closely following the continued detention of the convener of the #RevolutionNow movement, Omoyele Sowore, while calling on the Nigerian government to respect the fundamentals for democracy. Sowore was rearrested by operatives of the Department of State Security Services, DSS, on Friday at a federal high court in Abuja, a situation that has sparked reactions from many. The British High Commission in Nigeria, in a tweet, called for the respect for the rule of law, stating that the ideals set out in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights should be upheld. Earlier on, a United States Senator Bob Menendez, representing New Jersey, made an open declaration of Sowore's rearrest by the Department of State Service operatives in the court.
Well, joining us now is Martin White-Ufuah, I believe. Martin White, are you with us? Good morning. Welcome to the morning show.
Good morning. I'm here with you.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having me.
Martin, the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami SAN, when he visited Justice Soho to congratulate him on his on the confirmation of his appointment, said the federal government is already investigating what happened last Friday in Abuja at the Federal High Court in the matter of Sowore and the Nigerian government. Are you satisfied with the assurance that has been given by the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice? That government respects the rule of law and that government will look into what has happened, and after that, it will make further comments.
Personally, I am not satisfied, and I think majority of Nigerians are also not satisfied because this is about a week since the debacle at the Federal High Court here in Abuja when operatives of the DSS invaded the court. And if it's taking us this long for the federal government to respond, because the earlier responses we got were from Garba Shehu, the presidential spokesperson, and also the DSS responding to defend itself. The evidences are clear from the visuals that are being transmitted on social media and different TV stations that men of the operative invaded the court in an attempt to rearrest Sowore, which they eventually did. And that is an ugly incident. And again, there are many things in our countries that really do not need to set up a panel to begin to investigate, because the facts are already there on the streets, in the media, and everyone is talking about it. It has become a national discourse. So for the Attorney General, upon his confirmation, to be saying that he wants to investigate, to me, is like trying to gather information that are not the actual picture of what actually took place. Because we all know what happened. And it's only the government that has pitched tents against the media, against Nigerians, against everyone who are saying the same thing. It's only the government that is singing a different song. And that is very unfortunate, because it is very, very sad to know that the government, who is supposed to be protected of its citizen, is the same government that is taking side against the citizen. And there's no way, like in the comments of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, his response or reaction to this issue, he said, as it were, power still flows from the people. The power in our democracy is from the people. It's not from those in government. So whatever the Attorney General is saying is not useful for now. All he just needed to do is to question why the DSS invaded the court and then penalize men of the operative and who gave them that order to invade the court. Because this is not the first time the DSS is acting beyond this constitutional power. And again, that reminds me of what the presidential spokesperson, Garba Shehu, said, that the DSS is acting in line with its constitutional power. It is not in their constitutional power to invade the court, and it is not in their constitutional power to breach a bail that has been granted to Sowore. And this is illegality. To me, personally, that was a kidnap. Sowore was kidnapped in the premises of the Federal High Court in Abuja.
Thank you. You've given your assessment of the reaction of the executive. What are your thoughts on how the legislature has reacted? The House of Reps has called for an investigation as well. This was raised by Minority Leader Ndudi Elumelu. What are your thoughts on all of that?
First of all, we would have expected the leadership of the National Assembly, not just the House of Rep. And again, if you look at it, it's the PDP House of Rep member representing Delta State, and who is also the Minority Leader, Ndudi Elumelu, that raised the motion in the floor of the House to investigate, for the House to investigate DSS. We would have expected naturally for the National Assembly, the Senate President to swing into action, and because the essence of governance is for checks and balances. We have checks and balances in government, and the National Assembly is there to check the overreaching extent of the executive, and that has not been done. And again, that is to confirm the popular saying that this ninth National Assembly is a rubber stamp of the executive or an extension of Asorok. And it's unfortunate that the Senate President, who is the chairman of the National Assembly, has not spoken or said a word over this issue. And that alone is discouraging. It's not good at all for our democracy, because this is a democracy. And with the kind of action that the DSS displayed last week Friday on the 6th of December, it's like an agency of government is trying to militarize our democracy, because the only difference between a military democracy and a constitutional democracy is the National Assembly. So if the National Assembly is not speaking out, is not condemning it, this invasion of the court, then it's very sad for our democracy, because what it seems now is like our democracy is being overthrown by the silence of the National Assembly, by the rascality of the DSS. So many things are not in shape right now, and that is why we sincerely want the chairman of the National Assembly, which is the Senate President, to speak out. We are yet to hear from him.
Okay, and regardless of all the international pressure that we've seen as well, that one would have hoped would have somehow influenced the government to do the right thing, we're still here discussing this, and we're still at a stage where our democracy is being heavily threatened. Now, I want to ask you if you see this going to a point where maybe the international community places sanctions on Nigeria, like we saw in the Abacha days, where sanctions were placed from the UK, the US, the EU. Do you see this situation getting to something like that?
Definitely, because Omoyele Sowore is not Dasuki, is not ex-Zazaki. Omoyele Sowore is a media personality, and again, I can assure you that the media team of Sowore are doing all they can to reach out to the international communities and also different organizations and treaties that Nigerians are part of. And we can be very sure that the international community, like the British government has said, that they are watching what is happening in Nigeria. And a senator, Alant, is another, up to 2 senators now in the United States, and also the department, I think the CIA also, they are observing what is happening in Nigeria, and they are going to take action, because this is a violation not just of the fundamental human right of Sowore. There are a series of cases of human rights abuses in Nigeria that have not been addressed, and the Sowore's issue is just an eye-opener to the decay in the system, and it's just a fragment of what is has been happening. So I believe that there are going to be sanctions, and I want that sanction to be extended not just to the president, the vice president, but also to every serving member of this government, and if possibly everyone that has lent support to the invasion of the court and also the illegal arrest of Sowore, because as we know, Sowore has been granted bail. This is the second time or the third time. The first time was Justice Taiwo. The second one was Justice Ijoma Ojukwu. Then when the order of the court or orders of the court were not being complied with, Justice Ijoma had to give a 24-hour ultimatum to DSS. And I can assure you that that order was not respected or complied with. What DSS did was a deceit. They only released Sowore so they could rearrest him in the morning so it would be seen that they've complied with the court order. The court order was not complied with. And as we speak, we are still counting the number of days that Sowore has been detained illegally in DSS custody, which as at on the 5th of December last week, when it was presumed that he has been released, it was already 125 days. So adding it up with the extra 7 days that has elapsed now, is over 132 days in custody, in DSS custody. And that does not speak well for our government. It doesn't speak well for our nation. And it discourages those who may have interest in investing in this country. And, you know, the government is trying to seek or attract international investors. It is very, very discouraging when they know that you cannot obey a court order. So who regulates the decisions of our country? Who puts certain things on check? Who restrain the excesses of the executive? So many things need to be put in place, and I believe this is the way to go.
Well, Martin White-Ufuah, it's good that you know, you are commenting on the international dimension of this particular subject. But you know, there's a story in the media this morning, or so, you know, referring to the reaction of the presidential spokesman, Femi Adesina, who was on a TV program yesterday, and he was asked the question about the interest that has been shown by the United States, the European Union, and the United Kingdom in the Sowore case. And his response was that, look, those countries have their own issues. They should go and concentrate on their own issues, because Nigeria is not answerable to the international community, and, you know, Nigeria is a sovereign nation. What do you say about that? What's your reaction?
That statement, it's an unfortunate statement, and also it shows that Femi Adesina does not have a full comprehension of how governance work. The world is a global community, and Nigeria is a member to several treaties. We are not standing alone in the world today. We are part and parcel of several agreements, United Nations charters that has been reached. So for you to say that order or members of the international community cannot call you to order when you are abusing your constitutional power, it shows that you do not understand what governance is all about. You are not the president of Nigeria to suppress the people of Nigeria, because this is humanity we are talking about. We are talking about human rights, and human rights is a global issue. It's a global concept. It's not all about Nigeria. So if something is going wrong with our democracy, if something is going wrong with the way our government is acting, if our government is abusing its constitutional power, yes, the international community has the responsibility to react to it, because if issues like war break out, then we are going to have refugees that are fleeing into other countries, that will be a burden to the world, to government of other nations. So that's the reason I said that Femi Adesina is overwhelmed. You know, when you are trying to defend a government that is doing so badly, you falter. You falter in the sense that you begin to say things you are not supposed to say. That kind of statement is not supposed to come from somebody who is the spokesperson of the president.
Thank you very much, Martin White-Ufuah. Thank you very much indeed.